America's Most Wanted, captured by his own daughters.
Crime King, back.
Welcome back. 7:44 now. A man featured on America's Most Wanted was arrested in Polk County. Davey Albaran was wanted out of Osceola County for sexual battery on a child under 12. And as you just heard a short time ago, it was his own adult daughters who were leading the fight to find him.
Sexual battery under the age of 12. Good for his own daughters, you know, helping Grady, Judd, and the Polk County police to get this pedophile and this, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, he should be obviously in prison for the rest of his life. And that's it. Throw away the key, right? Throw it away. True Crime King back, guys. Let's see what else we got. Here we go.
Joining us this morning, Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd. Great to have you with us, Sheriff. Thanks so much for being here.
Oh, it's very good to be with you this morning.
Sheriff Judd, these daughters, I mean, God bless them. They went above and beyond to try to make sure that their dad was captured. What are your thoughts on what they have gone through over the last year and a half trying to make sure that this happened?
Well, I appreciate their efforts. In fact, it took everyone working together. He was hiding from law enforcement. My friend, Sheriff Lopez, and his team did an outstanding job and got warrants, capital felony warrants. This guy needs to be in prison the rest of his life and never breathe air outside of prison.
Agreed.
How did that
Agreed.
happen? It happened when we got a tip. And
I just want to pause it on this guy's face. Just look at this guy. That is the face of a guy that, you know, takes advantage of children, I mean, less than 12 years old, right? This is not a human being.
it was from the daughters. Now, we normally don't give up who the tipsters are, but since they've outed themselves, then we don't mind confirming that. So we snuck into Country Haven, where this guy was having a haven away from law enforcement, and we surrounded a house. It was late Sunday night, and we heard this silence, and then we heard noise. And our deputies said to themselves, "Self, that sounds like someone trying to hide in a shed." And that's exactly what our canine...
Of 51, he's 51, 6'1", 220, and is, you know, taking advantage of these 1 to 12-year-olds, right? It's just totally, it's appalling. And, you know, that's why I like Grady Judd. He doesn't beat around the bush, and if you're going to do shit like this, especially in his county, it's not going to be tolerated. And he tells you all the details and doesn't sugarcoat anything. That's what I like.
And our deputies found. We found Albaran hiding in the shed, and he told us his name was Jose. Well, he didn't look like Jose to us, but once we ran the fingerprint scanner on it, he confessed to us. He said, "Yep, that's me. You got me, finally."
Well, there's no need for him to confess, you know, after they run the fingerprint scanner, right? But, you know, what's he going to do, right?
So America's Most Wanted was locked up because he made a mistake. He sought haven in Polk County, and we gave him haven in the Polk County jail.
You would think that these pedophiles, you know, would learn. Stay away from Polk County if you're going to try this shit, right? But obviously these guys can't help themselves. They got something wrong with their brains, right? And obviously these pedophiles are never going to stop. So, you know, the police aren't going to stop either, but these guys are just going to keep getting arrested. But unfortunately, these young kids are going to keep getting, taken advantage of by these predators. That's why you need to make an example of these guys, and that's why I'm trying to share this. Get as much eyeballs on this as possible.
Sheriff, the crimes that he is accused of are pretty horrific, and I think that is probably why his children, his daughters, were so, insistent on his capture.
Well, absolutely. Anytime you sexually batter a child under 12 years of age, and there's 2 warrants for 2 different events, it doesn't get any worse than that. He's a pedophile.
And you can use your imagination. I mean, when they say sexually batter, I think you can, read between the lines and understand what they mean by that, right? It's the worst of the worst, right? I mean, and you can imagine, who knows what kind of damage this guy did to this young child, right? Again, he's 51 years old.
He's a child molester. He's the worst of the worst. And I applaud his adult daughters for working with us to capture him.
And what about America's most...
And that says so much when his 2 daughters, adult daughters, wanted him in custody and helped the police catch their own father because they knew what kind of a piece of shit this guy is, right?
Most Wanted. Obviously, the case was featured on that show, and you guys highlighted that in your post when you put out that he was arrested yesterday. I'm sure you appreciate the efforts of shows like this.
Absolutely, because the more transparency you have and the more light you have on bad guys, the less places they can hide. And he can run, but he can't hide whenever we're looking for him across the nation. And it's not just law enforcement, it's wonderful citizens like these young ladies. When the community works with us, we keep the community safe. If you see something or hear something, say something. You don't have to get involved. You don't have to come out publicly. No one ever has to know who you are. And this...
Yeah, if you know of somebody that's abusing a child and is an adult and you're not saying something, then you're just as sick and responsible as these guys that are committing this, in my opinion. And you should be in jail as well.
This is an example of how we catch bad guys when people in the community work with us.
Well, we certainly appreciate your efforts, and we definitely appreciate you taking the time to join us here on Good Day Orlando this morning. Sheriff Grady Judd, just real quick, will he be extradited back to Osceola? What's next, do you know?
Absolutely. He will be transferred back to Osceola County, where he will stand trial there. Okay. And that will be in the next few days.
All right.
Well, there you have it. Another pedophile off the streets, and children in Florida are safer, thanks to Mr. Grady Judd. But hit that like and subscribe button, guys, and until next time, True Crime King out.